Ladies and gentlemen, I want to present to you the Meditations on the Tao Te Ching. This is the beginning of a new series where I'm going to try to upload all of the Tao Te Ching. In this first episode, I'm doing book one, and book one will be from a live performance recording. Um, After that, books two and onward will all be MIDI. I wanted to say that this piece, MIDI does not lend itself well to this. You got to have a really good performer and a really good performance because so much of it is in the improvisation and in the movement and the flow. Um, this will be a video with kind of two introductions. I left in my original introduction from the older video, but the score will now be on it. So I thought I would read a little bit of the introduction in the first edition of the first score. Meditations on the Tao Te Ching was started in the spring of 2013. During that time, I focused on the text every day and eventually came up with 43 movements, each movement corresponding to a verse. Now, in 2025-26, I am completing the rest of the verses to create a work with a musical piece for each verse of the text of the Tao Te Ching. The meditations are calm, resonant, mysterious, mindful, creative, and mystical. They are a finger pointing to the moon. For me, that moon is Jesus Christ, the Tao, the truth, and the light. And I am going to say a little bit about that at the end of this video when I edit it. The meditations have been broken up into 9 books, each with 9 movements. Performing the full set could be a very powerful experience, but you can also perform selections from the book. Consider dimming the lights, perhaps projecting each verse behind the pianist with a video projector, playing soft nature field recordings, using a fog machine, experimenting with lighting even further, or even projecting stars throughout the hall. Feel free to perform a single book or a set of books if the whole set is too daunting, even a single piece. The main thing is to enjoy the calm and to not feel too much pressure to achieve. Let the learning happen naturally. I tried, to the best of my feeble ability, to let the music write itself during composition. I didn't have any goals or expectations beyond having one piece for each verse. A similar approach as a pianist would be probably most fruitful. No pressure, right? This work is the first and currently only of my compositions where I encourage free improvisation. You can, on the one hand, consider the score a foundation for improvisation. If you veer very far from the score, I would still appreciate representation in the credits. On the other hand, if you do not feel comfortable doing improvisation, feel free to interpret the score as we have in our classical tradition, being faithful to the score, improvising little, etc. So, here on my YouTube channel, and please like and subscribe for more content like this, I am now putting out all of the Tao Te Ching to be available to the world. And currently, I'm writing book 7, and I plan to have books 7, 8, and 9 finished this year. So please enjoy Meditations on the Tao Te Ching, book 1. Hey, everybody. I want to share with you the first book of the Meditations on the Tao Te Ching. This is from the first volume, the first book. This is verses 1 through 9. And I wanted to say a little bit about how the score should be approached. It's a little different. So, I grew up playing Mozart and Beethoven and Schubert, and I grew up with that tradition that many of us classical pianists have, where we are very, very faithful and dedicated to the score. And, there's the Alfred Brendel score quote, where he talks about how, if he's done anything, it's to interpret the score uh, as best to the composer's intention as possible. That's sort of a paraphrase, but you know that this is a tradition that is long-standing in classical music. And I love this tradition, and most of my music is from that tradition. I don't want to talk too long here, but I just wanted to give you a quick, brief introduction to the meditations on the Tao Te Ching. So, this is my first score that I've done, which is can both be played faithfully and exactly, but also I encourage a lot of improvisation in this score. But you will hear like a lot of extra stuff that I'm putting in there. And I wanted to have sort of a new approach to how to look at a score. And so the text itself is sort of a framework, and you can go as faithfully or as loosely as you want from the score. So there's that sort of balance between like Beethovenian strictness and some of the contemporary 20th and 21st century sort of experimental scores. And I wanted to find a place right in the middle of those two things. And I think that Meditations does it. I think it's a really good way to do that. So don't want to talk too long here, but I want to let you know that that's what all the extra stuff is that's apart from the score. And if you're going to perform this, think of these videos that I'm making as sort of a guideline as to what you can do, and feel free to do, to do interesting and creative things with this piece. And as always, I have to say it: practice hard, play harder. Hey guys, I wanted to say one more thing about this composition. And I want to preface what I'm saying here by saying that I am not qualified as a philosopher or a theologian. I'm very much just a layperson when it comes to all this. So that's the preface. And I wanted to say that I am a devout Christian and a follower of Jesus and have been for many, many years. But I love the Tao Te Ching, and I'm reading here, I don't know if you can see it, Christ the Eternal Tao, which is becoming one of my favorite books of all time. But here he quotes Paul. So I'll read Paul from Romans 2:14. Though not with the same power as in the people of God, the Hebrews, nevertheless, the presence of the Spirit of God also acted in the pagans who did not know the true God, because even among them God found for himself chosen people. Such, for instance, were the virgin prophetesses called Sibyls, who vowed virginity to an unknown God, but still to God, the creator of the universe, the all powerful ruler of the world, as he was conceived by the pagans. Through the pagan philosophers, though the pagan philosophers also wandered in the darkness of ignorance of God, yet they sought the truth, which is beloved by God. And on account of this God pleasing seeking, they could partake in the Spirit of God. For it is said that the nations who do not know God, practice by nature the demands of the law, and do what is pleasing to God. So, from my very limited understanding and knowledge, there's this idea, especially in the writings of Paul, that God presented and manifested himself to the pre Christian peoples through the Spirit of God. Which takes me to the Tao Te Ching and the idea that it could be um, just as uh, spiritually relevant, or that the Tao Te Ching could be a kind of revelation itself. So I am not a syncretist, or a synchronist, and I just wanted to state that. But I do strongly believe that we can find huge value as Christians in the faiths of the other parts of the world, and other times in the world, and that we shouldn't limit ourselves or be superstitious or scared. Um, I hope that makes sense. I hope I said it well. It's something that it's on my mind. Um, but once again, I think that there's a lot of truth in these wisdom texts, like the Tao Te Ching and like the Dhammapada, and I think that we would be a lot poorer if we didn't explore them. I think we would be a lot more spiritually poor if we didn't have these wonderful wisdom texts from people who lived very long ago and very far away from the Christian tradition. So I hope that makes sense. And I just wanted to explain that and let you know that as a Christian, I find the Tao Te Ching to be intensely inspiring and a lot to learn from, and I see no conflict of interest there. So, once again, you can see that I'm not a philosopher or a theologian, and I wanted to say that about myself, but I think it was important to make this little note. So, there's going to be a lot more to come with the Tao Te Ching. So thank you for making it to the end of this video. I'm going to be uploading the rest of the books. Once again, those will be MIDI. And I hope that you enjoyed. I hope that you want to play this piece and get inspired to play this music. Um, I think it's really powerful and cool stuff. So like and subscribe. Have a great day and enjoy the meditations on the Tao Te Ching.